Hey folks, we're back with another episode of Inspiral Gaming Weekly. As always, I'm Daniel, and I'm here with our man on the inside, Robert Hodge.
Hey there.
This week we're going to talk about items, and more items. You ready to kick this off, Robert?
Yep.
All right. I think it's important to go first into are there specific types of items in the game? Like, you know how there are like different types of monsters? Are there different types of items?
Yeah, so there's multiple categories, and then there's subcategories. The two categories are artifacts and common items. Within those two are little subsections. So artifacts can have things like gems and trinkets, things that are more magical. Common items are more like tools, or you can find melee weapons, though some of them have some cross-sectioning there. You could find a magic melee weapon, for example.
Can you tell us a bit about some of the items that you've showcased in the past, like the Moonblade or the Cryosphere?
Yeah, sure. Let's start with the Moonblade. So the Moonblade is, as it suggests, dealing with the moon. It deals with darkness. When the room is in darkness, the Moonblade is actually most powerful. So the Moonblade being a one-handed melee weapon, you can just strike someone with it, mutilate them a little bit. Or if you're doing it while in the darkness and you hit them, it decimates them. So it basically it's stronger in darkness. The Cryosphere is also an item, an artifact, like the Moonblade. However, it's a gem. It's considered a gem, and it plays around with room status effects too. So Cryosphere changes how fire works. When a room is on fire, the Cryosphere makes that fire this weird magical icy kind of a fire. It's very weird. Not only will fire deal damage to you if you stay in it, obviously, but the Cryosphere causes it to slow you down, making it harder to get out of.
Sounds
And
terrifying.
it is very terrifying. And here's the most terrifying part about the Cryosphere is it's a cursed item. And what cursed items are, these are items that cannot be dropped or traded. They can be stolen, which means you weren't willingly giving it up. But once you pick it up, you have it, and that's what it does. And most cursed items are detrimental to yourself. However, I try to implement ways to get out of the curse, or to at least find some kind of benefit in having a cursed item. So Moonblade is not cursed. It's just a weapon that does more damage in darkness, whereas the Cryosphere, it does give you benefits. So if a room's not on fire, it doesn't matter. That's one benefit. Another thing is it actually makes you stronger. It gives you increased strength. And it gives you the ability, if you can pass a certain check, you can actually drop the Cryosphere. But by dropping the Cryosphere, as though it weren't cursed, it sets the room on fire. And it still has its effect on that fire.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that the Cryosphere, when you have it, any fire you come in that like is in the room with you becomes this ice fire?
Yes.
Okay.
Even if it's on the ground.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like just affected, like if you had a fire spell or something, it would turn that into it.
Anything that causes fire, if you're in the same room as a room on fire for whatever reason, it affects the fire that way.
Okay. And in that you mentioned gems. So what's the deal with gems?
Gems are just a type of artifact subsection. It's generally gems, you hold them and they give you some kind of benefits. They're always magical.
I assume that weapons like the Moonblade require you to have like a hand free or something like that.
Yeah. So anything that you can equip, you only have two hands. So you could hold the Moonblade in one hand and the Cryosphere in another, because the Moonblade is a one-handed weapon.
Okay, and yeah, I wanted to go into that. The gems take up a hand slot for Cryosphere.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
You can just have it in your backpack, but you don't gain the benefits of it unless you're physically holding it.
But do you still get the curse?
Cursed is not placed on you, it's actually on the item. the item itself is cursed, so you're not able to drop it. You're not able to. You can equip, unequip, but you can't remove it from your person in any way, shape, or form willingly.
Okay, so even if you don't have it equipped, the cryosphere would still cause all the fire in the room to be cryo fire type of thing.
Yeah, the cryosphere is kind of different in the realm of gems, in that sense. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I also wanted to ask, are there possibly an infinite amount of items, of a type of item, or will some things have like limited numbers? Like, will there be one Moonblade, or could everybody have a Moonblade?
So that's the difference between artifacts and common items. Artifacts, they are unique items. You find one and that's it. That's the only one that exists in your game, your session. Common items are multiples. That being said, that doesn't mean we can't make, like a set of artifacts where there's multiples, but the standard is artifacts. There are one of them. You find it, no one else is going to have it.
Okay. Will there be like specific ways to get different items or artifacts, or will they be completely random every game?
So for the most part, it's actually very random. Each character, starts with their starting equipment. You can choose some. They have some choice for you, but for the most part, you search rooms. You try and find things in the room, or you activate an event, and maybe it gives you an item. Maybe you find a monster that's trying to attack you. It is generally a random generation for the items.
Okay. But will special rooms have any specific items that are more likely to be available?
Definitely. Yeah, so like in the kitchen, you're more likely to find food than in, I don't know, an attic, for example.
What if you just store food items in your attic? Or if there's like a mini fridge up there?
No. In this mansion, there is no mini fridge in the attic. The basement, however, might be a different story. But the point is, certain rooms you'll be more likely to find certain types of items than others.
Okay. So I figured we would just tie the item of the week into this, or the artwork of the week, because it was an item.
Yep.
So could you tell me more about the Morning Star that we showed earlier in the week?
Yeah. So the Morning Star, which we talked about cursed items. This is another one. The Morning Star, though, doesn't really have any detriment other than, in terms of being cursed, other than that it's actually just heavy. It requires 2 hand slots, so you need both hands to hold it to actually use it as a weapon. But 2-handed weapons are generally stronger. So the Morning Star is interesting because what it does is it deals only a little bit of damage, but the more enemies you kill with it, the stronger it gets. So kind of almost like it steals the souls of the enemies you kill. Not only that, but it actually heals you every time you kill it. So it's giving you some of that power as well. So it's this big old I'm stealing your life and I win kind of a weapon.
Do those enemies include other guests, or are they just other monsters and stuff like that?
Any unit. Monsters, guests, servants. You are more rewarded if you kill a guest or a servant than just a monster.
So form allies with somebody, and then once you're done using them, just kill them with the Morning Star.
Exactly. If you're that kind of player, exactly. Or you could go for the long con. Maybe your hidden agenda is to kill somebody specific. You ally with them, and they don't think anything of it, and then boom, they're dead.
That is definitely the type of player that I am. You mentioned heavy is being like encumbered, something that will happen in Dimension Door?
Yeah, so each character is limited by their strength. They can only hold so much. So most things have an encumbrance point of 1. Some things have 2. So, and if you're holding something in your hands, it doesn't count. The encumbrance is purely in your backpack. So if you're holding, the Morning Star, you're filling up both hand slots. But you'll still have a certain amount of space in your backpack that you can carry. So a character who's stronger, like maybe 3 strength, can hold 5 items, whereas someone with 1 strength can only hold 3.
If you were just asking for a friend, if you were to kill another guest, can you loot their corpse for items?
Absolutely. When you kill them, they drop all their items. And it just becomes a pile of goodies for you to take.
So that makes me think about this. If you kill somebody who has a Morning Star, does it stay powered up?
That's something that we have to test. I'd imagine yes. Morningstar is something that's it's feeding on the souls themselves. So if it's this Morningstar that's killed 5 things, it's dealing 5 things worth of extra damage when you pick it up. And it really should. I mean, you killed someone who has this super strong weapon. You should be rewarded by having a super strong weapon, right?
Okay. So it's depending on if you're able to make it work in the game, but ideally it would.
We can definitely make it work in the game. It's a matter of if we want it to in terms of balancing.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, well, with that, I want to head to the end of this episode. Last week, our question of the week was, what's your favorite piece of Dimension Door artwork so far? We had a few answers. There was a mention of the Dark Priest. Mutilated was one of them. I personally like the Witch. I think the Witch is the best artwork that this game has put out so far. But I think I'm most interested in the Sentient Eater, and I like the way that it kind of played in with the artwork for the electrician as well, whatever you want.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite piece so far?
My favorite piece has not been shown yet, so I will keep that a lovely secret.
Okay, well, when we do show it, you have to tell us.
I will definitely mention that. But yeah, I actually want to touch on the electrician. We really like doing that kind of a style where images are intertwining in that kind of a sense. It's very fun for both the viewers and for us, the producers.
And this week, I would like to ask, what kind of artwork would you like to see next week? We've opened it up from just Monsters of the Week to things like items. We've shown guests. So what would you like to see next week? And that's about it. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.